Hello, fellow traders. 'Tis I, the Rumpled One, coming to you Friday, October the 2nd. The year's 2020. Let's talk trading. It's time for the weekly wrap up. And as you all know, these videos are for educational purposes only, and your results may differ from mine. So, if we look here at the weekly chart, the pound dollar was the only pair that did not fill its gap, the open gap. Looking at the daily chart with the weekly opening range, and here we have the month of October's opening range, and here's the yearly opening range. And you can see we popped out of the opening range for the week right here at 129, and we're 11 pips above it right now. And it looks like you probably had a chance to make about 20 pips on that break. Once again, simple horizontal line trade. 305 pips below the yearly open. And the computer is responding very slowly for some strange reason. I don't think I have anything too CPU intensive running. So I'm not sure why it's just sitting here and not changing the chart. So I will pause the video, and finally it switched over. Now you can see we had an inside bar 3 days ago, and we busted through the high twice. We actually broke through the low twice. That second time here wasn't much of a break, but you can see here on this break you're up 38 pips. Another simple horizontal line trade. On the daily, you can see we've got a nice range here, but it's funny, it's NFP day. In fact, I forgot to put that in the heading on the chart. But I guess you could call it a forgettable NFP day because these ranges are pretty small here. I mean, look across the board. It's NFP day. The ranges are just incredibly small, in my opinion. We took out the pivot, which was above the buy zone here. You can see you had a long trigger. This one, you may have scratched it, or you may have taken a loss. This trigger was not valid if you used the pivot point as a bias. And then if you took it here, you were paid off very well. If you stayed in the trade, that is. Red rats, get ready to feast. And as you can see, the smart rat zone is just about 1 pip above it here on the red side and about 2, almost 3 pips below it on the green side. So that 20 pip rat zone still holding up. I mean, I'd have to look and see. Has it been 10 years since I put the rat out there? I can't remember. But it's been a while, and the rat's still working. And while I'm on that subject of the rat still working, let me just say that this past couple of weeks, I guess we picked up some new subscribers or new viewers, and I appreciate that. Thanks for coming aboard. But some of you, especially the ones who are starting out, you're trying to start by juggling 3 balls, and you probably haven't heard this story if you're new to this channel. But when you learn to juggle, you start with 1 ball, and you master just basically throwing the ball the same way with each hand, so it goes up at the same height and it pretty much comes down in the same place. So, and you just practice throwing it, you know. And basically, when you throw the ball up, you don't try to catch it as soon as you, because you will automatically catch it. As soon as you catch it, you go release. So what happens is when you're juggling, you go release, 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 release from hand to hand. Then you get two balls and you throw it up. It's like release, release, catch, catch, release, release, catch, catch. But once again, you're going to catch it normally. And then after you master that, now is when you start juggling, you put the third ball in. And what you're doing is you're just constantly releasing. It's release, 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 release. But what you guys are trying to do is you're trying to juggle. You're trying to do 2, 3, 4, 5 different methods when you're just starting out. Um, it's not going to work very well. Or you might take one method and then you put my dashboard up, and 1 second you're trading one pair, and the next minute you're trading a different pair, and then 2 minutes later you're on a third pair. Then you go back and you've missed a trade. No, simplify. Cut out as many variables as possible. So one method, one pair, one time frame, and just leave it at that and master it. And you can see how Walmart, he trades one pair. He, well, actually now because of me, he's got an additional method, but he was just trading at his normal Walmart breakout and he was doing fine. So I just caution you, if you're new or if you're not profitable or if you're marginally profitable, just cut out those variables. Just trade one pair. I've switched pairs because when I started trading with Walmart, I think I was doing dollar yen all the time. But he liked to do the pound. So to me, it's like, okay, I know the pound. I've traded it before. It's got good stats. So I switched over, and that's all I've been trading, I think, since about February, March. You don't need to trade more than one pair. I mean, especially you got a 116 pip range on the day. If you can just capture 10 or 20 of those pips, or in some cases just 5 of those pips, you can make a living off of it. And that's something else I want to talk to you about is the guys out there with the McLarens and the Ferraris and the other exotic cars, the Bentleys and Rolls Royces. And, if you come to this game with your $100 account or $1,000 account and you think you're going to be driving a Bentley next month or a or you're going to get your Lambo by the end of the year, well, it's possible. Yeah, that's the allure. But the reality is, if you go after that, you're probably going to crash and burn. It's slow and steady wins the race in trading, as in life. So just get those crazy notions out of your head and work on the fundamentals. And one final thing is, it goes back to the wanting to try more than one of these methods. It's something that's inside of us. You have to acknowledge that feeling, but then just acknowledge it. Yeah, I want to try something new. I want to try something different. Ooh, that indicator looks cool. Wow, it's got some cool bells and whistles. That would look really cool on my chart. Acknowledge you have that feeling, but then let it go. It's like you can say, I don't need it. I'm fine. You just really have to rein yourself in. Moving on, we've got the pivot. You see, we took out the pivot here. I believe we took out the weekly pivot a long time ago this week. And now it wants to do this, not responding again for some reason. I don't know why the computer is acting up today. But we definitely took out the weekly pivot. And we took out the daily pivot. You can see we had 4 missed pivots last month. Chances are we'll probably take out a couple of them this month. wick zone. We're in it. Definitely in and out of that wick zone. But you can see right now we're kind of stuck in it. Probably wind up the day inside. Usually doesn't happen. Some of the range stats to look at right here. We've got 117 on the day. And this is a daily chart showing the same thing across the board here. But you can see your buy zone traders, high minus open 77, open minus low 40. Pips to be made. Rat zone, you can see we're 100 pips above the low. And right now 17 pips off of the high. Just another one of my trading screens. If I was trading that short at 40 would have been very nice. So you picked up a couple of pips out in that rat zone there. Once again, simple wall-mall method. A lot of you, where do you get the indicators? Where do you find the method? It's on crestlick.com. Or you can go to my Facebook group. I think we posted it in the file section. In fact, another trader posted some files in there on the wall-mall method. I think they were taking some notes. But wall-mall came online and this week for a couple of days and was answering some questions. But then again, there's something else. Traders. I noticed there was somebody asking, well, can you do this and can you do that? And just on and on and on. Well, you see, the method is so simple. You don't need any of that. And that's what trips you up, is when you get off on these tangents and then you just go down the rabbit hole or you're out in the weeds. It's just so simple. Candle color, H1 candle color at the line, the first line that it crosses. It opened here, hits the 30, you go long. Opens here, hits the 20, you go short. That's it. That's the method. Now, Walmall says he waits for the second touch and he likes to see it broken, by a point or something. So, it actually makes it through. And as you can see here, the low was at 20.6. So that wasn't a trigger. You don't rush it. You don't rush it. But you can see here on the 30, it is going all the way up to 44. So there's a chance to maybe make 14 pips there. Point being, it's simple. You don't have to do anything else to it. And what kind of really intrigues me is sometimes people, before they master it, they want to change it. Now, that's not to say that their idea is invalid. No, it could be very valid. Sometimes the new person sees something that the old person doesn't see. But when your idea involves something that's laborious or complex or convoluted, it's not straightforward, it's not simple, you can't say it in 25 words or less, chances are you're going down a rabbit hole. Just don't do it. Okay? It's nothing, Walmart doesn't have an ego about it. It's just how he trades and he makes money at it. He's not going to waste his time arguing. He's more than happy to share his ideas, but if you want to argue, it's just like, okay, well, he's got other things he can do, like the chickens or Walmart. Anyway, tease Walmart about his chickens. So, traders, that's pretty much it for the weekly wrap up. I hope you've had a profitable week, and it's a new month. I hope you have a profitable month, and you have a really, fun and safe weekend. And when you come back to your trading platform next week, just keep this in mind. It's not what you trade, it's how you trade it. So go out there and drain the banks. This is TheRumpledOne, over and out.